Welcome, Mage. I'm Papa Mage.
And I'm Speedy.
And this is the Extreme Casual MTG podcast. As you can see, Rhino's not here. Rhino's off having a fabulous time somewhere else. But this episode of the Extreme Casual podcast is going to be more about Speedy's life in Magic, because she is the sister of a well-known, popular, not very well known, not overly popular, but reasonably known and reasonably popular MTG content creator. And her life as a young girl in Magic the Gathering. So I know these questions first come to mind because they always ask, what's your favorite color in Magic?
Blue.
She's a blue player. Oh, no, not one of those. We don't need more blue players controlling everything that I want to do. Counterspell. Okay. All right. Now, what is your favorite color combination?
Azorius.
Blue and white. She's one of them Law and Order sort of people. You shall succumb to everything that I say. Okay. All right. So you like Azorius. What do you normally play in Azorius?
Angels and Spirits.
Okay, Angels and Spirits, because you like things that fly. There are bats too. And there's other things that fly. I mean, you could put wings on a dog and they'll fly. Not very well, kind of round in circles. Okay, this is now the Extreme Laugh podcast with Speedy. All right, we've got a couple of Speedy stories. And before we get into that, we first need to tell you another story about Speedy and Rhino. Now, they're brother and sister. Speedy is 2 years older than Rhino, and they do a lot of things together. They spend a lot of time together. And before Rhino started the Young Mage channel, Speedy had gotten some Lego. She got Lego friends. And I put up a camera and had her recording, putting together a Lego friend set. I don't remember which one it was. It was a bakery or something like that.
It was either a bakery or a cafe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those two. And it was like over an hour long. I uploaded it to YouTube. At the time, I was using YouTube for photography tips and things like that. And I had uploaded it to my YouTube channel. And I went back and I looked at the number of views on it. And at one point, she had like over 100,000 views. Now, you've got to understand that this is a video of a shy young girl doing this. I put this piece here as she turns the page over. And now I put this piece here. And this piece here. Flip. And it was just like that. It was an hour long of this. And she had, I was thinking it was like 100,000 views of that one video in a month of people watching her slowly, extremely slowly, put together this cafe. Well, me being the intelligent, brilliant person that I am, didn't think, well, let's do more of that. Let's do something completely different. And, both Speedy and Rhino decided that they wanted to do a story. And they wanted to use Lego because they have a lot of Lego. And they built a city of Lego. And they came up with a story. And this came out a little bit after the Lego movie. And so they created a story, the invasion of the Master Builders. And the whole idea was the Master Builders were breaking into the Lego Friends world. So you have these little blocky characters with the more rounded Lego Friends sort of characters. And they had the various characters, and they did the voices, and they moved the characters around on the little things, and they got a whole 2 episodes done out of about 10. And it was pretty cute, but they ran out of steam because they were trying to work. I don't know that it was trying to work together, or it was just, it finally got a little overwhelming, I think. So they did that for a little bit, and then Rhino got into playing Magic. Rhino wanted to learn how to play Magic better. Couldn't find it, so we created this channel, the Young Mage channel, to teach new and young players what we knew, and get them excited. And having Rhino, do the teaching, so it's not as imposing when you have a young kid. You don't get scared, from big scary men like me. And so that was the whole purpose of the channel. Well, as the channel continued to grow, Speedy started playing some Magic, and we don't really remember exactly when she started playing, but there was some. Rhino got the Planeswalker decks and played the Planeswalker decks, and I think there was an episode that Speedy did that on. Don't know that you've ever really won games against Rhino.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but we've got a couple stories about Speedy, and as the channel grew and we changed a little bit, we started getting into Commander, and well, there was a set of cards, a special set of cards that came out from Wizards of the Coast, and it was for a charity, and it was the My Little Pony cards, and it had who did it have in it?
Twilight Sparkle, Ready, and I don't know the third one.
It was Nightmare Moon, Princess Luna, and Nightmare Moon. So we wanted to build a Commander deck around Princess Twilight Sparkle, because Princess Twilight Sparkle really, the ultimate win condition on it is everybody wins. Well, every pony wins, because that's what they say. And so we built this deck, and we've got a deck tech, and Speedy did the deck tech on it. And you can find it on youngmage.com, or we'll probably put something in the corner here for that. And it was a pretty neat deck. It's a hug deck, so you want everybody to get things that they need to have fun and play. And so there was one game that you were playing, and you were distracting everyone, and you had a walking archive out, and walking archive for however many counters on it. At the beginning of each upkeep, or each person's turn, they draw that many cards, right?
Right.
So how many cards were people drawing each turn?
7.
So they were drawing 7 cards each of their turns, and of course it's like replacing your entire hand. They have to figure out what they've got. It really blows away every plan that you have when you're drawing 7 new cards, and your opponents are drawing 7 new cards as well. And so what were some of the things that happened in that game?
Someone melted himself out.
Okay, yeah, there's a card. What was it? Minds Aglow, I think was the name of the card, where you tap in however much mana, and everybody draws that many cards. Well, each person gets to add to that, and I think it got up to 45 mana. The person didn't realize that Speedy had out a card that doubled everybody's mana. So you tap 1 and then you get 2 mana, and they ended up milling themselves out. And I think one of the opponents ended up quitting because he couldn't handle going through all these cards and discarding all the cards down the hand size and not understanding what was going on the board. It was a very interesting game. Speedy won by herself, unfortunately, because that's not the purpose of the deck. Purpose of the deck is for everybody to win. But you've played that deck a number of times, and a lot of times you get that final trigger off, so everybody wins. There's been the few people that have been a little rude and like, oh, I want to win by myself, and yeah, well, we put some things in that deck, and we've made it so that it's a little bit more competitive. But Speedy's most favorite commander deck in the past has not been that one. It's been Geist of Saint Traft, because you have spirits and angels in there. Not overly powerful, but a very fun casual deck, and the ability to bring out angels and have a bunch of angels and all that on the battlefield. But there's something else that's kind of interesting about Speedy. She is an incredibly good pilot, meaning that she can drive a deck pretty well. She knows how they work really well. And so we've got the pre-release stories. I can tell you that over the past, I don't know, several years, Speedy's been in 3 pre-releases. And she got first place in how many of those pre-releases?
3.
Yes. So she got first place in each one of them. So those were the competitive pre-releases. There was one other she was in that wasn't a competitive pre-release. It was just hey, we're going to do 3 turns or 3 rounds or whatever, and that was it. But the first one, it was like 42 people in that, and it went late, and she was tired and she was upset towards the end, and she just blew away her final opponent like in 4 turns. And then they played the second game in another 4 turns, and the person, it was just, I don't know, they were just disheveled. Maybe it was just because it was late at night. But Speedy doesn't make her own decks, right?
Right.
All right. She likes the idea. She likes coming up with the big ideas, and what to do with the decks. But generally, I'm the one that builds her deck for her, and then she runs it. But there's this one pre-release where the top prize was a booster box of mystery boosters. Rhino was in this pre-release as well, and Rhino had built a really good deck, but he had a really bad matchup at the very beginning, so he got into the lower track. And Speedy had a really good matchup to start off with. And in this one in particular, I sat next to Speedy, and I was basically the voice of MTG Arena or whatever. I would show, in order to make sure the game went smoothly. And of course, I talked to Speedy's opponent beforehand, make sure it's okay. I just tell her, okay, these are the cards you can play. This one, this one, this one. And that is exactly what Arena does. I don't try to add anything or do anything. So it is all her doing everything. And so she is sitting there with her trusty companion, which is Ted. And you can see through Ted right now because of the glow of the green screen. But yes, one-eyed Ted. And so she's sitting there playing this, and everyone looks at this little girl with her teddy bear next to her, and they just, oh, this is going to be so easy. And then they lose both games. First game obviously was a fluke, right? She got a good pull or something like that. Now let me tell you something else about Speedy. She never mulligans, ever. She doesn't ever take a mulligan. She always keeps the cards that she pulls, no matter what. And for some reason, it always works for her. It always does. And so she's sitting there with Ted, and I mean that game, I know it was like, I think it was 6 rounds. And I mean, this was when the mystery boosters first came out, and they were a hot product. Everybody wanted them. Speedy, I don't know that she was really that interested in the mystery boosters. It's like, oh yeah, she likes to open packs. She likes looking at the cards. She doesn't care about the rarity. She looks at the pictures, sees what the cards do, that sort of thing. But hey, it was a booster box of mystery boosters, and the store we were at, I think they had only gotten in 3, because they didn't even get a full case in. It was a pretty big store. And so the 5th round goes through, and it's Speedy as in first place, along with one other person who had been awake for like 20 hours already, had to go to work in like 6 hours, and he was tired. And so what did you do for that? For that last the last thing right there.
Shared half of the mystery boosters, so he had to have the other half.
Yeah, so she split the win at the very end, and he was like, well, I would have won, but she had offered, well, do you want to split the booster box? And he said, well, I'm just really tired, I'll do that. But I think he saw that she was reasonably unbeatable, and she has done that multiple times. So I suppose the big takeaway from all of this is, Speedy is, well, she's not that small anymore, but she was pretty small. And she goes in with her trusty companion, Ted, and she looks like this little girl that doesn't know what she's doing, and she just kind of bowls right over you. So don't underestimate your opponents, because inside that brain right there could be a powerful magic mind. Yeah. Now, do you like playing Commander?
No.
Why don't you like playing Commander?
It just goes very slow.
Well, yeah, some games can go really, really slow. So one of the things we're working on is a Commander deck for her that's still casual, that will basically force everybody to play faster. And we'll have a deck tech on that here in the not so distant future. Once we play test it a little bit, we're still missing like 3 or 4 pieces, but she's going to get in and she's going to play it and see if she can play using that commander and play that commander deck, and if it will make the game a little more interesting for her. Her favorite format is basically kitchen table Magic. And as we have traveled around and as Rhino teaches new players, she's often there and she'll play against new players because those games are generally a lot faster. She likes games that are 15 minutes, 20 minutes long.
Mm.
But when you get to an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's just too long for her. She gets a little bored. So that is the Speedy stories. Now, Speedy does have her own YouTube channel right now, but we're not focusing on that. We are going to be focusing on her doing Instagram because Speedy is a budding artist. And she does a lot of anime stuff, and she's been getting really good at drawing, and so she's going to start doing some artwork for commission.
Yes, I take commission.
Yeah. And so she's just started out her Instagram account, so we'll have that listed in the notes, and so you can follow her drawings on there. And you've put a whole bunch of drawings on there, right?
There's only one on there.
There's only one so far, but there's more going to go on each day. So we're going to get her started on that. And so that's pretty much it with the Speedy stories. She's just kind of like, not a sidekick to Rhino, but the loving sister. And she will help him out as needed. And so that's basically what we have for this Extreme Casual MTG podcast. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble along and Speedy laugh, of course. And so until next time, Speedy and I are shuffled back into the library. Bye.
Bye.